Hello everyone, and welcome to the course. I'm Wes Thompson, your instructor. Writing is a very important part of our daily lives, so it's essential to learn to do it correctly. The only prerequisite for this course is that you are a native English speaker or a fairly advanced or at least intermediate English language learner. Before we get into the curriculum, just a little about me. I am a certified English teacher with 20 years experience teaching students from grade 8 to older adult. I have taught both native English speakers as well as English language learners. I'm looking forward to teaching this course. And now, let's take a look at the curriculum. This first course begins with an overview of the most basic elements of good writing. Unit 1 is entitled The Complete Sentence. And what we'll look at, for example, is what is a complete sentence? We'll see that sentences are basically comprised of subjects, verbs, and objects. Now this overview is just an introduction. Each unit will be broken down into multiple lessons, and each lesson will explain all of these concepts in the appropriate amount of detail that you'll need to fully grasp it. We'll continue with the parts of speech. We'll look at nouns and pronouns, adjectives and adverbs, prepositions, conjunctions, and interjections. Everything in this course is presented to you because over the years as an English teacher, these are the areas where I have noticed seem to be the most challenging for most writers. For most of my students, these particular areas are the ones that are causing the most challenge to the students, and even in my workplace, even as an adult working with other adults, these are the areas that seem a little bit of need to be tweaked a little bit. So Unit 2 will continue with subject-verb agreement. This is a common area of mistakes in both English speaking and English writing. So what is subject-verb agreement? Well, first we'll examine point of view. You may have heard of this. It's first person, second person, third person. And again, this is just an overview. We will examine each of these concepts in detail in the individual lessons. We'll learn how to make subjects and verbs agree and look at some common mistakes and how to avoid them. We'll finish Unit 2 with the principal parts of verbs. This is the simple present, the simple past, and the past participle. Unit 3 will examine punctuation. We'll look at the most common areas for punctuation and the most challenging areas to most writers. For example, the comma, the semicolon, the hyphen, the dash, the quotation mark, and how to properly use italics. Unit 4 will focus on capitalization, very important in English writing. We'll learn how to capitalize proper names, people and their titles, buildings, languages, etc. Names of publications, such as books, newspapers, and magazines. And the names of major historical events, such as wars, historical periods, etc. In Unit 5, we'll move on to word usage. This is very important, choosing the correct word for the moment. Now, in this unit, the words that we're going to look at, it's not about spelling or capitalization or punctuation. It's about choosing the correct word for the moment. And here, this is just an example of some of the things that we'll look at in the unit. And these are, as you can see, areas where some mistakes might be made. When to use that versus who, for example, your without an apostrophe versus you apostrophe re, less versus fewer, whose versus whose, it's with an apostrophe or without. That's a big one. And also words like principal with PAL versus principal PLE. We'll learn to differentiate between these sets of words and when it's correct and appropriate to use each one. And finally, in Unit 6, we'll look at spelling. There are some spelling rules to help you to learn how to be a better speller. We're unlucky in English in regards to spelling because many English words are not spelled how they're pronounced and they're not pronounced how they're spelled. Some of the spelling rules we'll look at are I before E, plural versus possessive of tricky words, and the plurals of words ending in O. Again, these are the most common problematic areas for even native English speakers and writers. We'll conclude with a list of the most commonly misspelled words. Each word will have the trouble spots indicated in bold.
I would like to thank you for taking this course. I am confident that you will find it valuable and worthwhile, and it will help you in your goal to improve in writing. I wish you the very best in your success to becoming a better writer.